Welcome to Commanders Daily, everybody. It's your one-stop shop for everything going on with the Burgundy and Gold. I'm Bob Matthews. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss a day of our coverage. It is a good Monday, isn't it? In fact, it's a victory formation Monday, as the Commanders did what they were supposed to do. It was a TCB, taking care of business game against the Raiders, and they did just that. Final score yesterday, 41-24. Commanders now 2-1 on the season. And there really wasn't a whole lot that you could quibble about in this game. There really wasn't when you look back on it. Without Jaden Daniels, Marcus Mariota came in and ran the offense perfectly. He really did. Very professional-like, 15-21, 207 yards, one touchdown, also ran for 40 yards and another score. He did what Marcus Mariota does when Marcus Mariota is playing well. He's not going to go out there and throw for 400 yards. It's just not going to happen. But never at any point did you think he was putting the ball into a situation where, things might go haywire. He always looked in control of the offense. I'm literally here scratching my head trying to figure out what he did poorly. And there really wasn't much. He had a QBR of 54.9 and a rating of 118.6. Not bad filling in for Jaden Daniels. And the best part about that is not only do they get the win, but now they have bought themselves some time. They don't have to rush Jaden back at this point. They're going down to Atlanta next week. They're 2-1. Worst case scenario, even if they play poorly next week without Jaden, they're still 2-2 as they go out to play the Chargers, who are an extremely good team. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they will win in Atlanta next week, but I digress. The key to this game was the ground attack. I mean, it was ground and pound until they make no sound. They racked up 201 yards of total offense on the ground. You saw Jeremy McNichols broke off a 60-yard touchdown run. Mariota actually had a 27-yard run in the first quarter, you might remember, was wiped out because he fumbled, lost the ball. Chris Rodriguez carried it for 39 yards on 11 carries, and Bill Kroczki-Merritt had a touchdown. Just a really balanced attack in there. So there really isn't, a whole lot you can say offensively. Defensively, there were a couple of lapses here and there, but most of that was on the back end. And the front seven, wow. I mean, just played incredibly. Geno Smith was pressured 13 times. Just to give you an idea, he threw it 29 times. More than a third of the time, almost half the time he dropped back to pass, he was under pressure of some sort. The defense racked up 5 sacks. Bobby Wagner had 2 of them. Von Miller got in on the act and got a sack. It was just a great performance there by the front seven, and they limited the Raiders to 93 yards on the ground. Ashton Jeanty is going to be a really good running back one day. I'm glad it wasn't yesterday. They held him to just 63 yards. So again, I mean, they just completely controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides. I mean, the amount of room that Commanders running backs had, they were getting a 3-yard head start, it seemed like, on just about every play. That's how good the offensive line played, and that was without Brandon Coleman, who got beaten out for his playing spot by Chris Paul this week. And Dan Quinn says the line's in a bit of flux. They're going to have more competition this week to see how this one pans out. There are a couple of things that we need to concern ourselves with, chief amongst them being injuries. We'll get to that in a second. I forgot. I wanted to talk about special teams before we got to that. And special teams as well helped put this game away. Deebo Samuel set the tone right from the opening kickoff there when he took the kickoff back 70 yards, and that set up a really easy first drive that had Marcus going in on the 5th play of it to make the score 7-0. That was absolutely huge. And Jalen Lane with a punt return, a 90-yard punt return, that if there was any doubt in the game at that point, I think it was a 10-point game at that point, that pretty much put it on ice. Also, shout out to Luke McCaffrey for getting his first, I believe it's his first touchdown of the year. Let's just leave it at that. Obviously, that was that moved it from the sublime to the ridiculous. But nevertheless, we will take it because an excellent offensive output. As I was saying, yeah, the injuries are starting to pile up here. Hopefully, some of them aren't that serious. But let me just highlight for you um, uh, some of the more significant ones. Terry McLaurin, after that long catch that he had that I thought was a touchdown, but apparently the league office thought not, has an injured quad. Again, hopefully not that serious. Will Harris with an ankle. That one, I think, looks like it's going to be a little bit more serious. Percy Butler left with a hip. Marshawn Lattimore evaluated for a concussion. He had one, so he will more than likely miss the game in Atlanta. And Trey Amos with a calf. Now, again, hopefully most of those are pretty minor. And at this point, if you want to hang your hat on something, yeah, some of them might have been. Harris, I think, is going to be out for a while. The other guys, let's just hope that since the game was such a blowout, they didn't have to play through anything. Of all of those, I really want to see Amos get back, obviously, the quickest. Without him in there, they'll kick Mikey Sanders still outside. They'll bring in Noah Igbenogany, who has been very good, as a veteran backup. But again, you want to get Amos and Lattimore back there as soon as you can. So, what you ask is next? Well, it's time. It'll be time to head down the Atlanta Highway, go play the Falcons next week at Mercedes-Benz Arena or Stadium or whatever the hell they call it these days. It's nice, though, and the concessions are moderately priced. Again, this will be another TCB game. Take care of business. The Commanders just have a better roster than the Falcons. It's just the way it is. I tell you what, after this game, and we will talk more about this during the week, against the Raiders, feel a lot better about this defense being able to contain Bijan Robinson, who is so much a part of the Falcons' offense. It's amazing, what an outing like this can do. Again, after seeing what we saw today, I really think that, going down to Atlanta, being able to get another win, get to 3-1 here as you go out to play a really good Chargers team is definitely within reach. Will Jaden play or not? That is something we'll have to find out later in the week. But if he doesn't, at least we now know that Marcus Mariota has knocked the rust off from the offseason, perfectly capable of filling in for another week. All right, that's going to do it for us. Don't forget, hit the like and subscribe button. Drop a comment, too. What impressed you the most in the win against the Raiders? Put a comment in there, and we will talk about it tomorrow. See you then. Remember, like the wise man once said, if you're out on your bike tonight, as always, do wear white.